First tonight, a social services boss in Leicester has been sacked after the city's mayor said that a botched review put vulnerable youngsters at risk.
Sir Peter Soulsby raised his concerns after inspectors found that dozens of former social workers hadn't been replaced. He's now taken personal control of the department.
Well, let's cross now to Leicester Town Hall and our social affairs correspondent, Jeremy Ball. Jeremy, good evening to you. Just how serious is this?
Well, Anne, they're extremely concerned here. Almost 300 vulnerable children in Leicester could have been affected by this. Children who'd been referred to social services, but it's emerged today that there were unacceptable delays in allocating their cases to workers, which could have put them at serious risk. And today we heard that this happened because a review of Leicester's children's services last year was mismanaged. Inspectors found that more than 30 social workers had left their jobs. That's more than half of the workforce. But council leaders here say they weren't told. Now, today we've heard that the assistant mayor responsible for children's services, Vi Dempster, has been removed from her post this morning. At the time, the children's services department was being run by a consultant called Elaine McHale. She was moved to a different job last autumn. Today, she's been called in and she's been sacked. Well, for more, let's talk to the Mayor of Leicester, Sir Peter Soulsby. Peter, you told me earlier on that children's services fell apart for several months last year. How concerned are you about what happened here?
I'm furious. We have no greater responsibility than to make sure that the children in our city are properly protected. And I'm also angry because this botched review was one where we were not told about what was happening, and where, had we been told, we could have helped.
Aren't these children owed an apology?
Yes, they are. The children are owed an apology. Their parents, their carers, those who referred them to us, they're owed an apology. On this occasion, I'm afraid, Leicester City Council let them down, and I'm determined it'll never happen again.
Now, you've sacked the former boss today. You've made it clear that the councillor in charge of this has had to go as well. You're the boss, you're the elected mayor. Shouldn't you be taking personal responsibility for this?
And I am taking personal responsibility and personal charge.
You're not resigning, are you? Shouldn't you be resigning?
I personally am going to take responsibility for making sure, with our new director, that we ensure that those children in Leicester who need our care and protection get that care and protection.
But you were elected to carry the can, weren't you?
I am determined that this will never happen again, and that is my responsibility, and that's the responsibility I've set about making sure today I carry out effectively.
But you're not going to give up your job as a result of this?
I think my job in these circumstances is to make sure that those vulnerable children who need our protection get that protection. They've failed to get that protection in the past. We have failed them, and I must make sure that it never happens again.
This was all going to emerge in an inspection report that was due to be published later in the month. By getting in first, aren't you just trying to get your side of the story in first and deflect criticism against you?
No, what Ofsted have very helpfully done is to confirm what we were beginning to uncover, which was the full scale of the failure in these months last year. That very helpful report is one that now enables us to identify what happened, when it happened, and who is responsible for what happened. And I'm now able to move on from that and to make sure that those responsible actually carry the can, and we make sure that we, in future, give the protection that is needed.
Sir Peter Soulsby, many thanks for joining us this evening. There's a new director in place in charge of the department. There's going to be more training for middle managers. There are new staff in place. And we'll have the latest on this story on our late news programme at 10:25 this evening.
We will indeed. Jeremy Ball, thank you.